Hi everyone! Welcome to the channel Handmade. Today, I will show you my collection of the crashed cars made of plasticine clay. I decided to store each crashed car on a separate shelf. I have a lot of such cars after the crash tests. I know it's quite unusual, since most collections consist of beautiful, whole-scale models. It's the way they are supposed to be, but I decided to collect my crashed cars made of plasticine clay as well. I could take these cars apart and reuse the plasticine clay to create new cars. But I cover my cars with paint, so it's impossible to reuse such plasticine. Also, sometimes I took the whole parts from these cars, such as seats, wheels, or engine, but I've never destroyed them completely. So there are more and more of them. I'll start with the very first keys that I sculpted. This is the Bmw M3 E46 from the Need for Speed. This is the first version of the car. Recently I've made a new one. The door is gray because it's covered with primer. I wanted to test if the clay would be more durable with it. I crashed this BMW with an RC car. There were 7 collisions, and then I dropped it twice from a height. That's what is left of it. It looks broken, but not as much as new cars when they are folded, and almost nothing is left of them. It has been preserved quite well. The interior of the car is quite intact. If we open the roof, here the only seats are tilted back. The engine is almost whole. It's only a little jammed. This is a Lamborghini Huracan. I dropped a heavy piano on it several times. Therefore, here only the roof and a little rear part are damaged. I took out the wheels from this model and attached them to another car, the Nissan Gt-R. This model turned out to be very good. I made it very similar to the original one. The front part remained completely intact. Probably it can even be restored. I can change the interior for a better and more detailed one, and completely replace the roof, and put new wheels. But I don't know if it's worth it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is the Dodge Challenger. As you can see, the crash test was very tough. It got such damage because of the pencils. It was a rather unusual crash test. I tried to imitate logs that supposedly fell off a truck at speed in this Dodge. In this model, I first tried to use foil for body parts. It's needed for the strengthening of the structure, and also for keeping the shape of the plasticine. Plus, thanks to it, I achieved realistic bends of body shapes and crashes. It's better than it was with only ordinary plasticine clay. The Dodge is destroyed completely with pencils. This is the truck ZIL 130 of the Russian autoblogger Academic, with a capacity of 600 horsepower. It was rather a strange experience of doing the crash test of a truck, but it turned out quite interesting and unusual. I also used foil here. You can see it on the cargo platform. I made a work running gear for this truck, so it could drive earlier. Of course, before it got such damage after 8 collisions. The frame and base of the truck remained intact, but the front part and the cab couldn't withstand such collisions. This is a white Tesla model SP100D. Of course, there is not so much left of Tesla here after another crash test. This model was made from ordinary beige plasticine. Then I covered it with white paint. Of course, brushstrokes are visible and also paint cracks. All this gives realistic damage to the model. Tesla survived 10 collisions, and after that, it looks like it was hit by a train. This yellow plasticine was a Bmw M4 Coupe once. You may ask, so what happened to it? It's simple, I've crushed it with my own hands. I did it for a variety of content, as if it was a big giant. I took the car and crushed it with my huge, powerful hands. You cannot just take a scale model and crush it in your hands. It's impossible, but it's possible with plasticine cars. I've already proved it. Bugatti Chiron is probably one of the most undamaged cars after a crash. I had to make body parts in several layers in order to make similar shapes to the original ones. Also, I used a lot of transparent varnish to make it shiny with reflections. What is the most unteachable here? That is a salon. It has no damage absolutely, unless the doors, of course. It was such a pity to crash it back then, but that's what I do for the content. Lada Vesta Sport is damaged badly. I crashed it by the RC car with a ram, similar to a tree trunk attached to the bumper. I tried to imitate the crash of the car into the tree at speed, but it certainly looked different, as if the tree had crashed into the car. It turned out quite realistic. The car was folded due to the strong collisions. There were 6 of them in total. It was enough to destroy the car almost completely. If we remove the roof, you can see that the front seats are intact, but the rear ones are laid out like a sofa. This is a police car, Ford Crown Victoria. It probably has the most realistic damage, since I reinforced the whole body with foil. Also, there was one more police Ford, but it was of poor quality, so I decided to make the second one the better one. The Ford was destroyed by jumping on it, and also by ordinary collisions. That's what happened to it after all this. The roof completely bent into the salon, since a block of plasticine was thrown onto it from a height. There is no engine here. I pulled it out and installed it into another car, where an engine of similar size was needed. The last car that I've crashed recently was a Chevrolet Camaro. At first, I kept it under the sun for 5 hours. After that, while the plasticine was warm and soft, I arranged a crash test. Since the plasticine was soft, it was broken so badly. It took only 2 collisions to destroy it so hard. That's all the crashed cars. I hope you were interested to know how they look now. So if you like this video, subscribe to my channel and give it the thumbs up. I will hone my craft to please you with the new, improved plasticine cars. Thanks for watching my video. See you!